the shock of betrayal and sudden change that Tom had delivered. "I wish you were here, Mom." She wiped a tear from her cheek. You probably would have seen right through his sexy, crooked smile. She waited, half expecting to hear her mother's voice telling her she deserved better. Because she did. "I think it's time for me to go back home." "I'm through hiding, Mom." Once she returned the photo to the table, the tightness in her chest loosened its grip. This wasn't the end of the world. In fact, it was a chance at a new beginning. She'd call her school in the morning and let them know she needed a leave of absence. Then she'd get in touch with the caterers and the perky wedding planner. She could be on the road by the afternoon. She lifted her chin a notch and dropped her engagement photo in the trash can. Tomorrow, she would take control of her life and her future. And this time, she wouldn't rush into anything. Chapter 1. When they parked at the Mission de Alcalá, Kate stared up at the bells. Although she grew up in San Diego, she'd never played tourist and visited this famous landmark, which she admitted now was a shame. The white-arched bell tower of the first Spanish mission in the New World stretched toward the heavens, oblivious to the changing landscape around it. For a moment, she felt like she'd been transported back in time. Edie hefted her camera bag over her shoulder. "Hurry up! We don't want to end up standing for the service." "I'm coming." Kate ran up the uneven tile steps after her friends. When they entered the white adobe sanctuary, her breath caught in her throat. The natural pine ceiling arched high above them. Voices echoed in the cavernous space, and soft chords from the pipe organ at the rear of the hall floated down. The music washed over the congregation, filling the church with its somber peace. Her mother would have loved this place. Lori grabbed Kate's hand and pulled her across the sanctuary to a pew by the opposite door. Candlelight filled the chamber with a warm glow, and soon the only sounds were the soft chants from the priests. Images of Christ's crucifixion lined the walls, and the quiet hymns from the choir added to the poignancy of the Mass. Bittersweet sorrow swelled in her heart. This would be her second holiday season without her parents, and her first without Tom. The Mass felt like a solemn reminder she was alone in the world. The room blurred behind a wave of tears. "I need some air. I'll be right outside," Kate whispered to Edie. Edie gave her an "are you all right" look, and Kate managed to smile and nod before slipping out the door. As the heavy wooden door clicked shut behind her, she stepped into a lush courtyard with centuries-old adobe crosses rising through thick ferns that threatened to swallow them. More candles flickered around the garden. Shadows moved across the surrounding walls, mingling with the darkness that gathered in the corners and alcoves. The cool night air filled her lungs, calming the storm brewing inside her. Seeing the families and couples in the sanctuary stirred up heartache. She had erected protective walls around the spaces her parents and her ex-fiance used to fill. But now they crumbled. Kate took another deep breath and stared at the pale moon. She could almost hear her mother's voice telling her to stay strong. Keep moving forward. Just as she'd promised herself she'd do. Clearing her throat, Kate focused on her surroundings and followed a worn tile path to a weathered sign. The courtyard and the crosses within it honored the Native American neophytes who worked at the mission in its early years. Kate scanned the garden again, finding even more of the half